So a couple of months ago, I was sent a video done by Watch Mojo. You know, one of the biggest YouTube channels on all of YouTube, sitting at 26 million subscribers. And when Watch Mojo posts content that covers all the spectrums of media, the video that was sent to me was Watch Mojo's, I'm gonna say, attempt at ranking the top 30 strongest Naruto characters. However, this 31-minute video didn't just try to attempt to rank the top 30 strongest Naruto characters, but the top 30 both Naruto and Boruto characters. And therefore, Watch Mojo tried to tackle what is the incredibly difficult task of scaling the Naruto universe alongside the Boruto universe. Something that even I hesitate to do. However, that didn't stop them from trying, or stop them from making what I can only describe as one of the most horrifically inaccurate lists I've ever seen in my entire life. Not only does this list come across as knowing nothing about Boruto, it comes across as knowing nothing about Naruto. And while I understand more likely than not the writer who wrote this video a couple of months ago hasn't read Boruto, if you're trying to make a list of the top 30 strongest characters in all of Naruto and Boruto, why wouldn't you read the manga? But even with completed IPs like Naruto, they 100% missed the mark when it came to power scaling any and all characters. And thus today, I want to watch this video with you, and I want to break down exactly where it went wrong, which is basically everywhere. And then I'd like to give you my iteration of the top 30 characters that Watch Mojo added on this list. See, because while I could do a top 30 strongest characters list from both Naruto and Boruto, if I stack that list against their list, I'm gonna have to cut 10 or so names from their list, and then we're just gonna get lost in the mess. So with no further ado, let's get directly into Naruto's top 30 strongest characters debunked. But before we get to debunking anything, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. Will you ever continue the Naruto rewatch? We have. The Naruto rewatch now exists in the fourth wall link. If you go to any of my recent videos and click the fourth wall link in the description below, you'll find it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into what is going to be a horrific experience for both you and I. Starting off the list. Intro.
For the most powerful shinobi across Naruto and Boruto.
So, important note here, like they said, it's Naruto and Boruto. So, expect a lot of Boruto names here, or at least you should expect a lot of Boruto names here if you're talking about the most powerful characters in the universe.
Number 30, Sakura. Its battle
First entry, and I'm furious. Number 30 is Sakura. Sakura, the person who fought against Shin Uchiha, who has a Mangekyo Sharingan, was able to injure not only adult Sasuke, but also adult Naruto, had 17 other Sharingan, had a legion of other Sharingan users fighting for him, supporting him, and Sakura was able to 1v1 him, and probably would have won if Sasuke hadn't swept in and white knighted the whole situation. On top of that, Sakura is the only person to fight against Kaguya without a Sage of Six Paths boost. And she was able to land a blow on Kaguya, who is a light speed opponent. Number 30.
Even if she's mostly remembered for being a lover instead of a fighter.
Is she? Is she more remembered for being a lover than a fighter? Oh yeah, cool, like she marries Sasuke. I don't remember that as the core component of Sakura's character. I remember Sakura as, yes, the woman who beat Sasori, the woman who was able to fight against Kaguya without a Sage of Six Paths boots, and much more.
She landed a pretty good hit on Kaguya's crown too, and all without bringing up her natural proclivity towards healing.
So we are talking about the end of Naruto. We are acknowledging she was able to hit Kaguya. I wonder if they're going to talk about Shin Uchiha.
Now that she's had a few years of peace to hone her skills, Sakura's spent Boruto as one of, if not the best medic.
That's from the Shin Uchiha fight! We've seen the Shin Uchiha fight, and she's 30! We're literally showing her throw a 100-meter stone pillar at a man who is actively scaled comparatively to a live Madara, and she's 30? Okay, so at the end of every single one of their rankings, I'm going to tell you where I place the person they just ranked on my list. Sakura is not 30. She's not top 10. I'm going to be real with you. Unfortunately, Boruto hasn't been kind to Sakura. Not that they've made her weak. It's just that they've made everybody else exponentially stronger. So for me, Sakura's number 20. And we'll go over the entire list one one at a time at the end of the video here. So, Onoki is stronger than Sakura. I could see how this argument could possibly be made based off what he does in the 4th Great Shinobi World War if you knew nothing else about what happened after Naruto. I wouldn't, if you wanted to say Onoki versus Sakura, 4th Great Shinobi World War, who wins? Close-ish fight. Onoki is too low on this list. This scene still pisses me off. Look at this. I don't know if I'm going to stop it in time here. Sasuke's inside when it activates. Sasuke's inside when it activates. He should be Ash.
He doesn't need to think too hard to use his signature jutsu, Particle Style.
Why would he need to think hard to use Particle Style? It's hand signs like every other Kekkei Genkai or Kekkei Toda or Kekkei Mora or anything like that. Kind of crazy that we're showing him literally cutting through an entire forest grown by Madara. And mind you, this particle release then hits Madara and disintegrates not only his Susanoo, but also his shoulder. And would have killed Madara if he wasn't an Edo Tensei reincarnation.
Old or not, there's no question that Onoki is still in his prime.
That's not true at all. Onoki is not in his prime. If Onoki was in his prime, the 4th Great Shinobi World War probably would have panned out very differently, considering the fact that in his mid-80s, Madara still looked at all the 5 Kage and identified him as the biggest threat. So that's an anime-only arc. Onoki showing back up in Boruto doesn't happen in the manga. Is that Hamura Otsutsuki at 28?
Hamura.
Oh, definitely not the Sage of Six Paths. Fights Kaguya for 3 months. Oh my God, he's half of the reason she's sealed initially. He should be considered at least as strong as 4th Great Shinobi World War Sasuke or Naruto. But then, after leaving Earth, he gets a Tenseigan, which Toneri uses to cut the moon in half. Oh my God. Oh, I forgot to mention Onoki, 26. Onoki's at 26. He's not at 29. He's at 26.
Kaguya is the nastiest villain Naruto and his friends will ever meet.
That's not true. We're talking about Boruto. That's not true. They fight multiple other Otsutsukis, higher ranking ones. We're just showing Hamura sparring with the literal Sage of Six Paths, and we're like, yeah, 28. 28's fine.
Byakugan, Sharingan, whatever. You name it, he's got it.
I'm assuming we're talking about Hagoromo, because like Hamura spars with Hagoromo, because Hamura does not get the Sharingan. He gets the Tenseigan. Also, mind you, this is also all anime. This is all filler. Everything that we really learn about Hagoromo and Hamura pre them fighting Kaguya, all filler.
Anyone who can successfully seal away Kaguya is worthy in our books.
Yeah, and also fight against Kaguya while manifesting the powers of the Ten Tails for 3 straight months. We have to finish this video. I don't think we have to finish this video. I think has the point not been made? Has the point not been made? Hamura is 15. 15. One of the strongest Otsutsukis we've ever seen. A Tenseigan wielder literally created an entire clan of, I guess, at least half Otsutsukis on the moon. Hagoromo's brother, the first person with chakra on Earth outside of Hagoromo, moved to the moon to keep an eye over the Geto statue and sealed Kaguya. He's 15. Tobirama sent you. This one isn't that bad. This one isn't that bad. I still don't like him this low.
The title of Hokage carries a lot of weight around the shinobi world, and that's in no small part due to the man, the myth, the legend, Tobirama Senju.
We're just saying a whole lot of nothing. We're just like, oh yeah, Hokages are intimidating because Tobirama's intimidating. Like, I don't... Talk about Edo Tensei, Flying Raijin, Shadow Clones. Talk about the fact that he founded the Shinobi Academy, the Chunin exams, the police force.
Most of Tobirama's feats in the show come from his reanimated corpse. Even in death, the second Hokage is no joke.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that much about Tobirama, unfortunately. Like he said, most of the feats that we get from Tobirama happened during the 4th Great Shinobi World War. We don't see his battle against Kinkaku and Ginkaku. We don't know how many people he kills in the battle against Kinkaku and Ginkaku. We don't even know if he kills Kinkaku and Ginkaku. We really don't know what the result of that battle is at all. Basically, all we know is that Tobirama was able to cut down Izano Uchiha, who was a dual MS wielder. As to how powerful an MS wielder he was, we can't necessarily say. There's a lot of MS wielders throughout history, but considering the fact that he was Madara's brother, he was probably a pretty powerful MS wielder. Now, does that give us a concrete idea of where to place Tobirama? No, not really. I have him at 25 on the list. 27 isn't crazy, but when you consider who he's under on this list, 27 does become a bit crazier.
Number 26, Orochimaru.
Hold up. The other Sannin are on this list. I want you to know that before we move forward. The other Sannin are on this list, and Orochimaru is just coming up now, all right? All right? I have no issue with you saying Orochimaru is stronger than Tobirama. There's a legitimate argument to be made there, all right? Especially when you consider his white Zetsu form, all of the abilities he gets, getting what is his name? Getting Jugo's ability to pull in nature chakra, Karin's abundance of Uzumaki chakra, Suigetsu's hydrification technique, the fact that he's immortal now because he has a white Zetsu body. There's tons of arguments to say that Orochimaru is stronger than Tobirama by the end of the 4th Great Shinobi World War, and especially in Boruto. But if the other Sannin are on this list, why are they in last place?
Each one more sinister, sneaky, and sublime than the last.
We're showing Orochimaru going hand to hand with a Four Tails version of Naruto. All right. Now, mind you, this is when Orochimaru did not have access to their arms. No access to their arms. A severely limited Orochimaru went hand for hand with a four-tailed version 2 cloak Naruto, and then proceeded to block one of his tailed beast balls with a triple Rashomon gate. Now, mind you, Four Tails almost killed Jiraiya.
Not only can he cast the forbidden reanimation jutsu,
Yup, of which they master by the end of the story.
but Orochimaru can also transfer his consciousness to new bodies.
That's Boruto Orochimaru, mind you, who just absolutely eviscerates one of the outers of Gaara. Boruto Orochimaru is absolutely broken and still alive, which is why they should be considered higher than all of the other Sannin.
So, how are you supposed to keep this guy down? That was a real question.
So yeah, we're also just showing them absolutely seal away a god tree. Cool. Yep, keep them low.
Number 25, Tsunade.
Told you the other Sannin were on this list. Ooh wee! Okay, Tsunade, which means that Jiraiya is the strongest out of all of the legendary Sannin. I feel as though we need to roll with that information there. When they were all alive, together, simultaneously, all three of them still alive, was Jiraiya the strongest of the legendary Sannin? Yes. Okay, so if you wanted to say, while they were all alive, let's rank the Sannin, it would probably go Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Tsunade. Close. They're all close to each other in power in the same way that KCM2 Naruto, EMS Sasuke, and 100 Healing Sakura are close to each other in power, but there's still a pretty clear power dynamic. However, that power dynamic is severely shifted by the existence of Boruto in that Jiraiya is dead, Tsunade retires, and Orochimaru gets a perfect and young body. By the way, I have Orochimaru at 27. I'd like to note here that we have now placed Tsunade 5 spots above Sakura. Why, Watch Mojo? Why is Tsunade 5 spots above Sakura? They have the same kit, and Tsunade is retired.
The 5th Hokage packs enough of a punch to break even Susanoo's armor.
Listen, so she does break one of Madara's Susanoo rib cages, and she does flip one of Madara's humanoid Susanoo shadow clones onto its back, presumably destroying it. She's actually the only person out of the 5 Kage, not named Onoki, who actually is able to destroy one of the humanoid Susanoo before Madara goes perfect Susanoo and wipes them all out. So that is impressive, but we're not comparing her to the other 4 Kage there, which, mind you, Onoki is lower than her on this list, and Onoki destroys close to 20 humanoid Susanos for Madara, and saves all of their lives by destroying the deep forest emergence that put all of them, minus Onoki, to sleep.
Her ultimate technique, mitotic regeneration, effectively makes her and her allies invincible, and all without Tsunade lifting a finger.
That's not true at all. Still very much needs to come into contact with all of the people that she's healing.
If there was any doubt before, that one jutsu proves Tsunade is the best healer there ever was.
Oh my god, Sakura has it too. I'm losing my mind. Mind you, that would have killed Madara if he wasn't a Neto Tensei. So, like, if we want to talk about, like, legitimately impressive feats, that is one of them. Both Tsunade and Onoki take shots at Madara during their fight in the 4th Great Shinobi World War that should have killed him if he didn't have infinite regeneration.
Number 24.
And there's Jiraiya, apparently the strongest out of all of the legendary Sannin. And like I said, if you wanted to talk about just while they were alive, legitimately there is an argument to be made there, because there's no way in hell Orochimaru would have been able to defeat the 3.5 of the paths of pain.
Rounding out the legendary Sannin, this pervy sage edges out his peers on pure ingenuity. Also,
Pure ingenuity. So we got Toad Confrontation Chant, we got Toad Belly, we got Rasengan, we got Toad Summonings, and we got Toad Sage Mode. Ignore everything about Orochimaru having 3,700 jutsu. That Toad boy, he got the ingenuity down packed.
Jiraiya spits out enough thrifty jutsu to keep even the worst villains on their toes.
You're right, I forgot about extendable and sharp hair Senbon.
He has a plan for every situation, and when those fail, he has his trusty summons to come in for support. It's an unmatched combination.
It found a match, for sure. That match was called the Deva Path and the Human Path and the Naraka Path, who just simply healed the 3 paths he killed using Toad Confrontation Chant, and then when he realized, oh, I need to identify exactly who these people are and make sure that they're corpses that I'm fighting against, he decided to leave the safety of his seal so it could go die, like, immediately.
It took the entire 6 paths of pain to subdue Jiraiya, and even then, he still gave them a good run for their chakra.
That's not really true. That's not true at all, actually. When the 6 paths of pain show up, he literally grabs the animal path, barely kills them, gets stabbed through his arm and his shoulder, and that's after losing his left arm to the Asura path. Pretty much immediately when all 6 paths of pain show up, he gets hosed. Oh, by the way, I have Jiraiya at 28, so I'm gonna a quick run through here. I have Tsunade at 29, Jiraiya at 28, Orochimaru at 27. The legendary Sannin they're all strong, but comparatively to a lot of Boruto characters, they are not. I'm also going to tell you right now, Gaara is not stronger than any of the legendary Sannin, and 23 is insane when you can literally see him floating next to Onoki, the character who is undoubtedly stronger than him.
Because he's only grown deadlier in a fight, with the power of the One Tail coursing through him.
Simply not anymore. He has it for like half of the actually less than half of the story.
Sand into an impenetrable defense, an overwhelming attack at the same time.
Listen, is it impressive that Gaara was able to defeat Rasa and Gengetsu and play an instrumental role in the sealing of a lot of high-level Edo Tensei ninja? Yeah, 100%. However, to assume that any of those feats make him stronger than any of the legendary Sannin or Onoki is insane when you consider the fact that his role in the battle against Madara was basically just flying around and failing to seal him.
Villains are no different. Gaara's suffocating might nearly sealed Madara freaking Uchiha 6 feet deep. This
nearly is a stretch considering the fact that the first time that he tried to seal him, Madara just used his humanoid Susanoo, not even his perfect Susanoo, to break out, and the second time it was a shadow clone. So nearly is a stretch. I mean, yes, okay, so unfortunately, that moment right there is anime canon. It's what Boruto calls filler. That is him using Grand Sand Mausoleum on Urashiki, not the awakened, definitely way more powerful version of Urashiki that Sasuke, Boruto, Naruto, and Jiraiya have to fight against. Like, base form Urashiki. And Gaara is able to hold him in that Grand Sand Mausoleum for a couple of hours, like, or maybe even just an hour, which is probably the most impressive thing that Gaara ever does outside of protecting the entire village from a C2 bomb from Daedra. That being said, Gaara is number 30 on this list. There's nobody else on this list who is weaker than Gaara. Now, I would probably still have Gaara in my top 30 if I did an actual ranking of characters of the top 30, but he's number 30.
Koji Kashin.
Koji Kashin, baby, or aka Kashin Koji. This is actually not a bad placing for Kashin Koji. I don't mind Kashin Koji being considered stronger than all of the legendary Sannin. He is Jiraiya, but stronger. He's a perfect Toad Sage. He has the 10 pass, which doesn't necessarily help him all that much, but it allows for him to not be put in situations like Jiraiya where he's about to die.
Koji is stronger than his progenitor in several key ways. For one thing, he has perfected Sage Mode, while Jiraiya's remained incomplete.
I mean, we've never really seen how good of a Sage Kashin Koji is. There's never been like a moment where he's like, oh, I can pull in Senjutsu Chakra perfectly, like way better than Jiraiya ever could. Because Jiraiya obviously had Ma and Pa, and there was a big advantage there, but him being a perfect Sage when Jiraiya wasn't is definitely a big plus.
To take on Kara's leader, Isshiki Otsutsuki, who Jiraiya would likely have a lot of trouble with.
First off, he doesn't fight Isshiki. He fights Jigen, and he barely even fights Jigen. He fights a 10% powered Jigen. The second Isshiki shows up, he gets disrespected. He gets killed, basically. He gets a bunch of stone pillars thrown at him, and he has to teleport away, which is the moment where he gets the 10 bats ability, which is why he actually wants to teleport away.
But he still accounts well for himself before retreating. Koji may be down, but he isn't out yet, so he may get stronger.
So yeah, just a great way to confirm that they definitely haven't seen the manga. And for those of you being like, oh, when this video come out, like maybe it hadn't been revealed that Kashin Koji was still alive 2 months ago. So I have Kashin Koji at 23. I actually have him a spot lower than they have him at 22. Like I said, I don't hate that assessment of Kashin Koji. I just don't like how they go about it. Things that we should have known before making this strongest Naruto and Boruto's character entire story here. Kawaki is at 21.
Kawaki possesses great power thanks to the genetic enhancements he went through during his time in...
Like, to sit there and be like, oh yeah, his genetic enhancements. You mean the karma marking from the strongest Otsutsuki we've ever... Those genetic... Are you talking about the fact that his entire body is shinobi wear? The fact that he can turn his body into blades? The fact that, oh my god, I forgot, he reacted to a light speed attack from Delta and saved Naruto and Himawari's life? That's in the anime. That's in the anime. The damage he does to this. Look at this. They didn't even show the entirety of the explosion. The AP of that attack puts him so easily in the top 10.
But with Isshiki defeated for good, he's been able to utilize these powers to an even greater degree, with no setbacks.
So we're acknowledging he has chakra absorption. He has all of the abilities of Isshiki. He flatlines Boruto. He has light speed reactions. And we're saying there's 20 people stronger than him?
Kawaki's strength speaks for itself, especially considering his victories against various villains.
That was Limitless Code. That was Limitless Code! They said that Limitless Code had the possibility to be stronger than Isshiki. He's manhandling him. He's manhandling him, and he's at 21. I am going to have a heart attack.
Number 20.
Yep. If you guys didn't think it was going to get worse, Boruto's 20. Where do I have Kawaki, you ask? 6.
Yes, we know Boruto is nowhere near as powerful as most of the other characters in the franchise on his own.
I'm sorry. Pump the hate brakes, not because we put him too low, because we know that Boruto is nowhere near strong enough to be on this list. So what they're saying is that Boruto only cracked top 20 because of Orochimaru.
Boruto is remarkably powerful for his age, learning and improving on some of his dad, Naruto's techniques.
Are we blowing past the fact that Boruto kills Momoshiki? That Boruto with the super boosted Rasengan alongside his father because he naturally and accidentally applied lightning release to his Rasengan, something that Minato could not do?
It'll be interesting to see how strong he gets once he's mastered the power.
Boy, oh boy, do I have some news for you. You're like 40 chapters behind the story. Why would you post this without manga knowledge?
Number 19, Koji.
Oh, I have Boruto at 3 out of 20. So from 20 to 3. Mind you guys, there's still so many characters from Naruto on this list. And I'm gonna be real. Code is the king of overhyped. He's lost to Boruto. He's lost to Kawaki. Jura shot his goddamn hand off. He's an Isshiki simp. He's never lived up to the, without his limiters, he'll surpass Isshiki hype because he doesn't have his limiters on, which should make him currently one of the strongest people in the entire universe, and every single time he gets into a fight, he loses.
It's crazier considering Code's power was restrained by cybernetic limiters.
Cybernetic limiters, are off. Cybernetic limiters that the anime has shown being lifted. Cybernetic limiters, and also he has access to a Shinjutsu. You know the thing that the Otsutsuki's created that was the basis of all ninjutsu? That thing? Yeah, got it.
But without the barriers holding back his reserves of power, it'd probably take the whole of Konoha to keep Code at bay.
Question from the back of the class here. If it would take the whole, we're talking the whole of Konoha to hold Code back, there's other people on this list that are represented in that whole of Konoha. So wouldn't that make him... Yeah, I'm being silly. I'm being weird here.
It's hard to say if anyone or anything can stand up to this vengeful Gaara.
Could anything stand up to him? I don't know. Maybe not the 18 names above him.
Number 18, Itachi.
Itachi Uchiha. Code 17. And you're like, oh, Nick, they put him at 19. What are you freaking out about? 17's not that much higher. Yeah. All of the names they have above him are insane. There's a lot of people stronger than Code. Based off everything that we've seen, his feats, his ability to come out victorious in battle, there are a lot of people I believe could beat Code in a fight.
Itachi is a complex and multifaceted ninja, but what isn't complicated is how strong he is.
It's actually very complicated how powerful Itachi is, because a lot of people are like, oh, what's his peak power? Is it while he was 13 assassinating his entire clan? Is it when he was Edo Tensei? Is it when he was in this battle against Sasuke? I'm talking, mind you, and this is good context for the rest of the video here, peak powers. So when we talk about Kakashi, I'm not talking about Hokage Kakashi. I'm talking about DMS Kakashi. I'm talking about the peak powers of all of these characters. Itachi's peak power is when he was brought back through an Edo Tensei, which was incredibly powerful, but relative to most everybody in Boruto, not that impressive.
Speaking of which, Itachi also fights his little bro while dying and holding back, proving that he's not only powerful, but he's also smart.
I mean, he was definitely dying. I don't know if we could say that he was holding back.
Number 17, Pain.
See, all right, so I have Itachi at 24. Putting Nagato above Itachi, good job. Good job. That's my first hats off moment to this list. Good job. You know that Nagato is stronger than Itachi. That is a conversational point that a lot of people don't understand. Nagato will forever and always be stronger than Itachi. Even when they're brought back as Edo Tenseis, Nagato is still stronger than Itachi. Itachi has to work together with Killer Bee and Naruto just to defeat Nagato. That is an insane trio of people to fight against one person. So good job, Watch Mojo. 17 also isn't a horrific miss for Nagato.
Nagato is also responsible for killing several key characters in the series, some of which we'll be discussing later.
Nagato kills Jiraiya. We've already talked about him, but outside of Jiraiya, Nagato doesn't kill anybody permanently. I mean, Kakashi kills himself by using too much chakra. He kills Utakata. Who else does Nagato kill? Hinata, there's that. I mean, he kills a lot of people, but he brings them all back to life.
Number 16, Minato.
So my 4 would be, I would have Itachi at 24, Kashin Koji at 23, Nagato at 22, Minato at 21. That Itachi, Nagato, Minato is a very tight cluster, which is why there's always people talking about, oh, could Itachi beat Minato? Could Itachi beat Nagato? Could Nagato beat Itachi? So on and so forth. I've made videos on all of these matchups. So they did get that order correctly. It is Itachi, Nagato, Minato. Now they are all way too high because, mind you, I just said 24 through 21, with Minato being the highest on that list at 21. 16 is too high. Minato is not stronger than Code. He is not stronger than Boruto. He is not stronger than Kawaki. He is stronger than Kashin Koji. I'll give him that. And then he's stronger than pretty much everybody else on the list, minus Sakura.
Instead, his strength comes from how ingenious he is, an expert at sealing techniques.
I mean, his strength also comes from having like absolutely ludicrous chakra reserves and then becoming a perfect Toad Sage and then also getting KCM2 with half of Kurama. But yeah, he was smart.
Minato is so strong that other countries had a flee on sight order out on him, and he wasn't even Hokage yet.
Do you understand how insane of a feat that is? Everyone's like, oh, Minato's not the fastest character, like he just has flying Raijin. He doesn't have infinite speed. That's the 4th Raikage using a lightning cloak, traveling at probably close to light speed, trying to speed blitz him, and Minato just casually flicks a kunai, lands at a tree, and then jumps to it. That's almost infinite speed.
Number 15, Indra.
Okay, so like I said, I have Minato at 21. Indra and Asura together for some reason. I don't know why Watch Mojo wanted them to be together. They're very different characters. One is basically Sasuke, one is basically Naruto, one got the chakra of Hagoromo, one got the dojutsu of Hagoromo. I don't know why they're clumped together. I get that they've been warring against each other for like decades, but it's pretty conventionally accepted that Asura is the stronger of the brothers. That's why he was chosen. That's why he always prevails. Hashirama beats Madara, Naruto beats Sasuke. Pretty sure Asura beats Indra.
Each of them helped develop the first ninjutsu abilities, including things like the Sharingan and Sage techniques.
Once again, also all filler content. Like, everyone's like, oh, Minato didn't create the Rasengan, it was Asura. This entire fight is filler. None of this happens in the manga. Basically, anything that we learn about Asura and Indra does come from filler, which is why I think filler is so important. because I'm like, well, if it provides context that the manga doesn't previously have, that's good. I forgot that Asura also got wood release. I forgot that Asura also had wood release. So there's really no reason for us to assume that Asura and Indra are stronger than either Hashirama or Naruto and Sasuke in their 4th Shinobi World War forms, who are usually talked about pretty symmetrically. Like Hashirama is talked about as strong as 4th grade Shinobi World War Naruto and Sasuke.
But they're not so far removed from their godlike forebearers. They have a lot more power behind them than their descendants.
They have a lot more power behind them than he's literally using an ability that we see Hashirama use. Indra is using an ability that we see every Indra reincarnation use at the same size and deadliness. How are they more powerful? There's literally nothing to prove that. The only thing that you could possibly use to argue that Indra is stronger than every other iteration of his reincarnations would be, oh, his Susanoo is bigger. But Madara's Susanoo is proven to be roughly the same size, and when Sasuke gets his buff from Hagoromo, his Susanoo approaches the same size as both Madara and Indra. So I actually have Indra and Asura, if you're going to consider them together, at 18, which means I have them lower than people like Kinshiki, who is a full-blooded Otsutsuki, when Indra and Asura are a half-blood Otsutsuki pair. And then I also have them lower than my number 17 pick, who would be Code.
Kinshiki Otsutsuki. Out of all the pure-blooded Otsutsuki, Kinshiki is probably rated pretty low by many on the power scale.
Kinshiki should be considered the weakest Otsutsuki we've ever seen. Anybody tells you anything other than Kinshiki is the weakest Otsutsuki we've ever seen, slap them in the face. Don't actually do that. That's bad. The fact that Kinshiki is sedated by Koratsuchi, Chojuro, Darui, and like lightly Gaara proves that he is by far and away the weakest Otsutsuki we've ever seen. He's a low-ranking Otsutsuki. He gives himself over to Momoshiki, but like Chojuro is the weakest Mizukage we've ever seen. He's just boxing.
Is probably rated pretty low by...
The fact that Chojuro even belongs in that fight proves to us that Kinshiki is the weakest Otsutsuki we've ever seen.
He also aids in taking down Killer B, a Jinchuriki of incredible strength.
I mean, yeah, but we have to give the majority of that feat to Momoshiki, the substantially stronger Otsutsuki in this equation. Like the fact, like Sasuke could so easily just solo Kinshiki. I would argue Might Guy, peak power Might Guy, probably stands a fair to good chance at soloing Kinshiki. Peak power Kakashi also stands a good chance at it. Hashirama could definitely do it. Code could do it. Obito, Madara, so many people could solo a Kinshiki who is a full-blooded Otsutsuki.
Number 13, Hashirama Senju.
Oh, by the way, I had Kinshiki at 16. I mean, I have him lower. I have him lower than people like my 15 pick, which is going to be... Who do I have at 15? I have Obito at 14. Who do I have at 15? Hashirama Senju at 13 is actually exactly where I have him. So once again, unfortunately, the further we get in this list, they kind of do okay in the middle section, like a little bit. But Hashirama Senju at 13 makes a lot of sense.
He captured multiple tailed beasts and was confident enough to give them away to other nations.
I mean, yeah, of course he was confident enough to give them away to other nations. He could just catch them if they ever tried to use him again. Oh, I just gave you the two tails? You're going to try and use it against Konoha? Thanks for buying it off us. I'll just take it back and sell it back to you. Now, did it create a problem down the line after he died way too early? Kind of. Imagine bringing Kurama into a fight and just getting sealed by not even Hashirama's strongest move.
However, despite being known as the god of shinobi, Hashirama isn't quite as all-powerful as some of the remaining ninjas on our list.
I know I've been calm for the last couple of spots here. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get a lot worse and pretty immediately. And I need you guys to be cool with that, all right?
Number 12, Might Guy.
Yep. Might Guy at 12. We've already covered the fact that Hashirama is 13 on my list, which is actually in agreement. So what Watch Mojo is saying here is that Might Guy, the blue bull of the leaf, who is incredibly powerful, does have the ability to fight against one Rinnegan Jubidara, kicks a big old hole in Madara. That Might Guy is stronger than, and we'll go over it here, Hashirama, Kinshiki, Indra and Asura, Minato, Nagato, and Itachi. And while I will concede some of those points, I will say if for some reason Minato decided to straight up fight against an 8-tails Might, or an 8-gate Might Guy, he probably wouldn't win. Even KCM2, Flying Raijin Minato, if he actually tried to fight against an 8-gates guy, he may not win. That's kind of where Might Guy taps out, though. But if we're being real, The fight between 8 Gates Guy and 1 Rinnegan Madara was not as close as a lot of people want it to be, all right? Yes, does he land an insane kick against Madara that blows away half of Madara's body? 100%. But Madara just immediately regenerates. And mind you, the only reason that my guy was put into that situation was because he was working alongside Minato, Kakashi, and Gaara simultaneously. That is the only reason that Madara was put in a situation where he had to be hit with Night Guy. So is Night Guy crazy powerful? Yes, 100%. Does that make him stronger than Hashirama? No. You want to know why Madara was able to revive from the kick of Night Guy? It was Hashirama's cells. So no, Night Guy is not stronger than Hashirama. He's not the 12th strongest person in Naruto and Boruto. That is asinine. I have him at 19 on my list. I have him at 19. I did put him above Minato. I did put him above Nagato and Itachi. And that's like under the good faith basis that they just decide to actually fight against him. All of those people in a 1v1 almost definitely could beat Might Guy in a fight if they were just like, yeah, I'm not gonna be here when you're doing whatever all that is.
Claimed that using the 8 gates at their full power was a death sentence, because if it wasn't, then everybody's favorite bowl cut, green jumpsuit wearing mentor would have easily ranked higher.
I mean, even if you're gonna show this fight, like he has to open to the 7th gate to beat Kisame, who's not on this list and also didn't have Samehada.
Until he unleashed the final gate, wherein he nearly crippled Madara.
See, we're just showing. Gaara's using the sand to put Kakashi in position. Kakashi's using Kamui to teleport some of the True Secret Orb away, and Minato is using Flying Raijin to get rid of even more of Madara's True Secret Orbs. The only reason Might Guy is landing hits in this fight is because he has 3 people who are all on this list, mind you, helping him.
He managed to take down Madara Uchiha, who happened to be in his 6th path form at the time.
Managed to take down is a wild overestimation of what happened. He goes, wow, that almost killed me, and then doesn't die, and then gets another Rinnegan, and then fights against Naruto and Sasuke, who inflict inarguably more damage on him. I mean, Sasuke cuts in half, and he has to leave his legs in a separate dimension as he tries to pop into the Kamui dimension. Like, no!
Number 11, Toneri Otsutsuki.
Toneri is the only person, one of the only people in the entirety of the Naruto and Boruto universe to show off a planet-level feat.
Yes, he may only have existed as an obstacle for Naruto to overcome, so he could finally get with Hinata.
Saying that Toneri only existed as an obstacle so that Naruto could get with Hinata is kind of crazy, considering like the possible implications of his connection to Mitsuki and all of that, but why would I expect them to know that?
After all, there's nothing deadlier than a creepy stalker who can drop the moon onto the planet whenever he pleases.
Also, yeah, I forgot that was his plan. I forgot Toneri's entire plan was, I'm going to throw the goddamn moon into the world. Not only does he actually cut the moon in half, he was throwing it at the Earth. That is a planet-level feat. If the moon hits the Earth goes bye-bye.
Only to be taught the error of his ways at the last second. Guess even he couldn't stop the...
I guess Naruto and Hinata also kind of display a planet-level feat when they literally mend the moon from being cut in half.
Number 10, Urashiki Otsutsuki.
Listen, okay, yeah, so I have Toneri at 9, and everyone's like, oh, Nick, that's only 2 spots. It's a big 2 spots. Urashiki at 10, and above Toneri, while to many may seem like the correct choice, isn't. Because everyone's gonna be like,
oh, Urashiki seals Toneri away in the palace of the dragon demon, or whatever the hell it's called, for 10,000 years, because Toneri was unsuccessful and is taking over the world, and he's sympathetic to the human cause.
Pretty much everything revolving around Urashiki is anime filler, except for him pulling up on Toneri and greasing him. That actually happens in the manga. That is not only a surprise feat, on account of the fact that Toneri has never seen another Otsutsuki in his entire life. Like, his entire life, he's just been like the last person alive, and he's like, oh, I just thought all of us white-skinned people with crazy hair and all of that lived on the moon. So Urashiki pulls up and then just pulls out a cube, and then that cube just destroys Toneri. So if you want to put Urashiki higher than Toneri, because technically Urashiki beats Toneri in a fight, I guess that's fine. But to me, it feels like a surprise feat. That's like putting Kaguya above Isshiki because Kaguya was able to rip Isshiki in half. That's a silly thing to even consider.
同族を殺す許可は出てないですからね。ま、安心して1万年くらい優遇。
Palace of the Dragon King. That's what it is, which is actually, fun fact, based off a Japanese monogatari about a fisherman who goes down to what is essentially Fishman Island in One Piece, and he goes down there for like 3 or so days, but when he comes back 300 years to pass on the surface level, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, we thought you died.
Urashiki is also notable for his ability to steal chakra and techniques from other people.
Which, like, never really pans out to anything, right? Like, I feel like he never used, like, he steals chakra from Gaara, he steals chakra from Toneri and Sasuke and Naruto, I believe, and then never really does anything with it. He just gets, like, a time-stoppy Rinnegan and dies in a toad.
He's seemingly able to master their abilities and use them with little effort.
That's not anybody else's ability. That's just ki blasts.
Number 9, Kakashi.
Okay, so I have Urashiki at 11. So wherever Toneri was, which is they have at 11, I have Urashiki there. Kakashi at 9. Guys, Kakashi at 9. I love DMS Kakashi. DMS Kakashi is not beating people like Urashiki or Toneri in a fight. I would say Hashirama gives DMS Kakashi a run for his money. DMS Kakashi is top 5 in the Naruto universe.
Originally known for nothing more than having a half-decent Sharingan and lightning-based jutsu,
I would argue that's not what he was known, a half-decent Sharingan and lightning-based jutsu. What about the 1,000 jutsus he knows?
a much-improved Kamui, as well as the ability to use the Sharingan's deadliest abilities on repeat without fear of going blind.
This falls into the same categorization of something like the 8 gates from Might Guy. We're like, oh, the 8 gates. Like, of course, the peak of the power is so incredible. Yeah, I mean, he only had the remainder of 6 Paths chakra that Obito had access to in his death. Asinine to me that he's this high, considering the fact that I don't know, that this puts him above people like Orochimaru and Toneri.
For a brief moment, the teacher once again outshone his students.
Oh, he didn't speed blitz Kaguya? Then what's that? Then what's that? Exactly, please.
Number 8, Obito Uchiha.
Okay, all right, yeah, I forgot about this one. Okay, so I have Kakashi at 12, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, Nick, 12 and 9 aren't that different. Once again, when you get this high, the numbers mean more. Because there's such a clear power scale. Like, everybody at this high of a level is at this high of a level for very concrete reasons. So when you miss the mark by like 3 this high, like let's say you miss the mark in the high teens, or you miss the mark in the mid 20s, that's fine. By 3, that's fine, because you can make the argument that maybe Nagato and Itachi or Nagato and Minato should be swapped, something like that. There's no argument to be made in the top 10, really. Like, to miss by 3 is insane, especially when you're saying that Obito Uchiha is stronger than Kakashi. The entire plot narrative of Kakashi getting his DMS form and getting Obito's Sage of 6 Paths chakra is that he's reaching the level of strength that Obito always was supposed to accomplish. Now you're going to say, oh, Jubito, Nick, what about Jubito? Do you think Jubito's weaker than DMS Kakashi? Yeah, I actually do. On account of the fact that, one, it's established multiple times that Obito is not a good 10-tails Jinchuriki. He can't use his Kamui because he's too unstable as a 10-tails Jinchuriki. On top of that, he's defeated by a combined force of the Majestic Attire Susanoo from Naruto and Sasuke. Mind you, pre-Hagoromo buffs, that's just KCM2 Naruto and EMS Sasuke. While, yes, Obito does, in his Jubito form, have access to things like the Sword of Nabucco, which is Hashirama, or Hagoromo's sword, which gives him the ability to apparently either destroy the entire world or create it, but he never shows any feats that are even remotely close to a planetary level effect.
After all, half his body got crushed by a boulder, and he managed to find the will to live.
Like, he does get some pretty insane wood release. He gets some pretty insane wood release on account of the fact that half of his body is Hashirama. He has ridiculous chakra reserves. He can use Kamui as much as he wants. And I'm not saying that Obito isn't strong by any means. Obito is crazy strong. He's the strongest member of the Akatsuki by far. DMS Kakashi is just probably stronger.
He began a crusade of revenge.
Like, all he uses when he becomes Jubito is the True Seeker Orbs or variants of said True Seeker Orbs. That's it. That's all that he becomes, a one trick, and it's just using True Seeker Orbs, which are crazy broken. But because he's so unstable as the 10-tails Jinchuriki, he can't access what should be the actual height of his power as a 10-tails Jinchuriki.
Gained the ocular power of the Rinnegan to add to his own Mangekyo Sharingan, but also had free access to Hashirama's wood release the Kamui.
He didn't have access to Kamui. That's the whole thing. Like, he didn't have access to Kamui when he became the like, if he had access to Kamui when he was the 10-tailed Jinchuriki, he'd be top 5. Easily he'd be top 5. The fact that Madara got rid of the Kamui Eye for the second Rinnegan has always kind of perturbed me, because, like, man, if he had the Kamui Eye as the 10-tailed Jinchuriki and used it in the same way that Obito used it for the entire show, my god, what a menace he would have become. But yeah, whatever.
Number 7.
So, all right, I have Obito at number 14 on my list, which might feel low to some of you, but that places people like Urashiki, Toneri, Kakashi, and then who do I have at 13? And Hashirama above him. I do legitimately believe, and crucify me for this if you want, that a close fight is peak power Hashirama and Jubito. You could probably make the argument that Jubito wins in that fight, but I think they are very, very neck and neck in terms of power, mostly based off the fact that Madara, like I said, as an Edo Tensei, never sweats the idea of Obito getting the 10 tails. He always understands that it's coming back to him, because Madara doesn't respect Obito in terms of power.
Momoshiki Otsutsuki. Good god, this clan is almost as bad as the
Momoshiki being 7 when he is undoubtedly the second strongest Otsutsuki we've ever seen, and therefore a top 5 in the verse, is crazy.
This demonic jutsu user served as Boruto's first primary antagonist.
Mind you, I'm not going to be talking about, like, if in my scaling, I think scaling fused Momoshiki is kind of disingenuous because it's 2 people. I get that he's like, Kinshiki is kind of operating as a tailed beast inside of Momoshiki. But like right here, we're seeing that base adult Naruto is boxing with a fused Momoshiki, which is Kinshiki and Momoshiki's power put together. That's insane. So I don't think Momoshiki's like as crazy powerful as he gets a lot of the hype for, but 7 is really low when you consider the fact that 6 other names need to be placed on this list, and Kaguya hasn't been mentioned yet.
But just like his other family members, has the power of the Byakugan, Rinnegan, and Sharingan in abundance.
I mean, he also has Palm Rinnegan that allow him to absorb all ninjutsu and like be effectively invulnerable to the idea of genjutsu.
Number 6, Sasuke Uchiha.
And if Momoshiki at 5 didn't piss you off, then Sasuke at 6 definitely should. Because you know who hasn't been mentioned yet? Madara. Number 6, we are saying that Sasuke is weaker than Madara Uchiha. Sasuke, who says that he single-handedly, as an adult, could solo a Kaguya-level threat. Sasuke, who is frequently talked about very openly as the strongest Uchiha of all time, is lower on this list than Madara. Or Madara's not on the list at all. And I don't know which would be worse, if we're being real.
Has perfected his lightning chakra to the point where he can infuse it with anything, including his already titan.
Like the fact that we're showing his perfected, super perfected Susanoo, which is literally Susanoo made out of goddamn lightning. Bashing in the brains of the full-powered, I guess a half-powered Kurama Jinchuriki in Naruto, who was also super boosted by Hagoromo's power at the end of the 4th Great Shinobi World War, and that's not the peak of his power, and we're saying that, oh yeah, Madara, because he was Jubidara and had 3 Rinnegan for 2 seconds, is stronger, is crazy. Okay, so, there's Madara above Sasuke, 1. So I have Sasuke at number 4. Now, me putting Sasuke at number 4 does put him above Momoshiki. I'm going to come out and say it. That does put it above Momoshiki. If you want to say fused Momoshiki, which I really wasn't taking into consideration, I'm saying base Momoshiki. But since we're talking peak powers, you can say fused Momoshiki. I just consider that 2 people. And so, like, it's kind of a weird one, but if you want to consider Kurama a person, like, that's kind of like earlier when we asked ChatGPT to, like, make a list of the strongest characters, and it was, like, the 10 tails. And I was like, I would never consider the tailed beasts on this list of, like, a list of characters.
The first thing this guy did after rising from the grave was take out an entire army single-handedly.
All things that, mind you, Sasuke could have done. Adult Sasuke could do this. Adult Naruto could do this. Momoshiki could do this. A lot of people could do what Madara does here. These are fodder ninja.
That's how much of a beast he is. Even before he managed to become the new sage of the 6 paths.
Became a 10-tailed Jinchuriki, yeah. awoke to 3 Rinnegan. Yeah, did not become the new Sage of 6 Paths. That's not just an ability you get when you get the 10 tails and a couple of Rinnegan.
To turn the Sharingan into Rinnegan, the results of which allowed him to construct multiple Susanoo, as well as summon a freaking meteor.
First off, if we're talking about him summoning meteors on the battlefield, talk about his 3 Rinnegan feat where he summons 27 of them. All right, that's him summoning 1 or 2. First off, those aren't summonings. He pulls those out of the high atmosphere using the Devil Path. When he gets 3 Rinnegan, he literally creates 27 of them. Bro, Minato is just losing arms in this entire war.
Before,
All right, so, yeah, okay. I have Madara at 10. I have Madara at 10. And you're like, oh my god, Madara at 10, that seems so low. If I have Madara at 10, that means he's right below Toneri. The highest level feats that we ever see from Madara, Infinite Tsukiyomi not included, tap his AP out at roughly small country level. Like, the strongest ability we ever see from Madara is when he uses Chibaku Tensai and creates 27 meteors after awakening his 3 Rinnegan. That is the highest level feat we ever see from him. So, like, small country level. And then above him, I would also have other characters like Hagoromo. Hagoromo says that when Madara has 1 Rinnegan, he's approaching his level of strength. We never know as to whether or not Madara is able to ever achieve Hagoromo's level of strength, but we do know the power that Hagoromo gives to Naruto and Sasuke allow for them to pretty easily dispatch of Madara.
Isshiki Otsutsuki.
And Isshiki Otsutsuki is one of them, and the fact that Watch Mojo believes that there is 3 people stronger than Isshiki is the actual worst entry on this list. This is the worst entry on this list by far and away. Isshiki Otsutsuki is only taken out of the story because of plot repercussions. Nobody, and I mean nobody, in this story is stronger than Isshiki has been, except for maybe Jura. But if we're not adding additional characters onto this list, Isshiki, out of the 30 listed, is by far and away the strongest.
Oh, Nick, Baryon Mode Naruto was able to smoke him.
Baryon Mode Naruto was able to keep up with him. The only reason Baryon Mode Naruto worked out for Naruto, of which, mind you, it actually didn't. It just delayed the inevitable, which was him getting his hands on Kawaki. You know what actually defeated Isshiki? Kawaki using a shadow clone.
In practice, it lets him dominate opponents like Sasuke and Naruto simultaneously.
So disrespectful. So I have Isshiki at number 1, as any person with a fully formed brain should, because, like I said, there's literally never been anybody in the Naruto universe who's been stronger than him. Baryon Mode Naruto stood a chance, but Baryon Mode Naruto lasted for a minute.
Number 3, Sage of the 6 Paths.
That's his legal name, Sage of the 6 Paths, not Hagoromo. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. They're saying that Hagoromo, the character who we've never seen fight in any manga material ever whatsoever, is stronger than Isshiki, the character who Naruto needed to kill Kurama to battle against. The character who Naruto, mind you, was using the chakra of Hagoromo in said battle against Isshiki.
Also known as Hagoromo Otsutsuki, this son of Kaguya had pretty much all the power in the world at his fingertips.
No, he didn't. He's half as powerful as Kaguya. That's the entire idea. That's why he has to work together with Hamura to battle against Kaguya for 3 months. That is his most impressive feat. That is his only quantifiable feat, is the fact that he was able to seal Kaguya with the help of Hamura. However, when you take into consideration the fact that Kaguya has now been identified as a mid-level Otsutsuki, that's not that impressive. He is half as strong as a mid-level Otsutsuki. And you want to be like, oh, well, after he became the Sage of 6 Paths and became a Force Ghost, he became more powerful. Sure, maybe. We don't have a lot of basis for that, though. But so I have Hagoromo at 8. Which puts him under people like Momoshiki, Sasuke, Isshiki, Kaguya, Naruto, in the same ballpark as people like Toneri, because Toneri has quantifiable feats.
Kaguya.
I have Toneri at 8, or I have Toneri at 9. Number 2 is Kaguya, but Isshiki, Sasuke, and Momoshiki, according to Watch Mojo, are weaker than Kaguya Otsutsuki, when Sasuke himself has said he could defeat Kaguya one-on-one. When Momoshiki came to the planet looking to kill Kaguya because of her betrayal. When Kaguya planned to build an entire army of White Zetsu so she stood a chance in combat against other Otsutsuki. When Isshiki was the higher ranking Otsutsuki in combo with Kaguya. When Kaguya had to surprise feat Isshiki by ripping him in half so she could eat the chakra fruit of Earth, and Isshiki still survived.
As the first wielder of chakra, not only does she have every kind of jutsu under her command, the original Sharingan, Rinnegan, and Byakugan.
Listen, placing Kaguya right above Hagoromo is technically the correct thing to do. If anybody is close to each other in terms of power on this list, it's Hagoromo and Kaguya. They are mother and son. Hagoromo got all of his abilities from Kaguya. He becomes the Sage of Six Paths. He seals her away. So them being close to each other, good job, Watch Mojo. But Kaguya being number 2 is asinine. Yes, she fights against End of the War Arc Naruto, End of the War Arc Sasuke, End of the War Arc Sakura, and DMS Kakashi. And that's impressive. And the only way they're able to defeat her is basically hacks. They just have to touch her simultaneously with the palms on their hands with the seals granted to them by Hagoromo. Cool. That's dope.
It's fair to say that the rabbit goddess cemented herself as a being that was so powerful that it took a cheat code, we mean last-minute sealing, in order to finally bring her down.
Any guesses on who's number 1 on the list here? If Kaguya's number 2? There's one name we haven't heard yet.
Naruto Uzumaki.
It's Naruto, guys. Naruto is the strongest person in the combined Naruto and Boruto universes. Even though he lost in a 1v1 contest against Isshiki, even though his strongest form, Baryon mode, required the sacrifice of the entirety of Kurama, of which he was only able to use that form for about a minute, and even though he was able to land tons of blows on Isshiki, and even a Rasengan, Isshiki is relatively unfazed after this flurry of blows. The only reason that Naruto comes out even remotely victorious in this battle is because Isshiki runs out of time. Listen, I have Isshiki at 1. I have Naruto at 2. Now, Naruto at 2 is contentious. It is contentious because there is a legitimate argument to be made that Boruto is already stronger than Baryon mode Naruto. I have Boruto at number 3 just because it feels disrespectful to Naruto to put Boruto at number 2 with that little evidence for the contrary. But if you wanted to say Boruto gets number 2 on this list, sure, be my guest. But Naruto is not number 1.
From the Rasengan to Sage Mode to the Ninetales to his Six-Path abilities, Naruto has no shortage of broken abilities.
They're just going to talk about Naruto being strong. How about Jura? So if I had to make a Naruto list of both Naruto and Boruto characters that exist currently, I see people saying Shibai. I get it. We haven't seen him. Shibai is mist. Shibai is an extra-dimensional being that exists as a wall of Jogon. Shibai 1, Isshiki 2. Jura 3. Boruto 4. Naruto 5. Kawaki 6. After that, maybe Daemon 7. You could throw peak power Sasuke in at 8-ish. And then you're just getting into like Momoshiki, Toneri, Hagoromo, Madara area. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've been trying to do more streams. I love hanging out with you guys, getting to film some content while doing it. I got 1,100 of you in here right now, which is craziness. If you guys are looking for more content from me, make sure you guys are going ahead and check out my Fourth Wall series. I'm doing the Naruto reaction series. We are currently in the, we're finishing off with the Land of Waves arc. So we're on episode 18 right now. So if you're looking for 18 additional Nick videos, you can find them in my Fourth Wall.